Welcome back to the Spoonie and Caregiver Life podcast with me, your host, Jordan Banderas. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And let's go ahead and get into today's episode, shall we? So, next month will be 5 years since I became a caregiver for my wife, and man, oh man, it's been a wild ride. It all started when my wife had a nervous breakdown and tried to commit suicide on the 21st of January in 2017. The day my life changed forever. A day I will never be able to wipe from my memory. Why, you may ask? Because my wife and my life have never been the same. I guess you could say it has been trial by fire. But it has also enriched my life in so many ways. Because I didn't know what to expect at all after everything had happened. I thought from the beginning that everything will go back to normal, as I know Katie is one of the strongest people I know. But then, unfortunately, her body started getting weaker and weaker. We began getting diagnoses like fibromyalgia, hypermobility, spinal issues, chronic pain, and she has never recovered mentally. And I mean, to be honest, it's a lot to take on all at once, because that's what happened. Like, we were getting diagnoses like one after the other. Every time we would go see a new doctor, there was a new diagnosis, so it was a lot. And then we also had to go through multiple surgeries, rehabs, and now she struggles to walk any sort of distance. So it's been hard on her. Now, because of all of this, we also lost an income since Katie could work before all of this happened. We were making it in life before all of this, or so it felt. When all of this happened, I became the sole provider for our household, which was new to me. I had never done it. So it was not easy, and Katie had always worked, so I was always relying on her income as well. Now, I had a good job, but going from two incomes to a single income was stressful. Because for a while, I had to take care of all the bills. I had to make sure that they were paid, take care of our dogs, cook, clean, and take care of Katie, as she was catatonic for 2 years and still go to work for 8 hours. Now, I'm not complaining about any of this. This is just the reality that I face. I had to do all of that. Now, another thing is that my job at that time, I had just started a new job literally like 6 months before all of this. So it was super demanding because I wanted to move up in the company. So I had to make sure I perform at an intense level to avoid getting fired. In this job, just to give a little bit of context, there was a scorecard. So I had to make enough points so I wouldn't end up at the bottom and get fired after a while. So it was pretty intense. I was under a lot of stress. So all of this was hard. But the most challenging part was all the criticism I received from people close to us. People doubted that I would stay by Katie's side. We were on the verge of collapse, according to what they were saying. People said that I was a bad husband for working and leaving Katie with her parents when I had to. People also told Katie that I would leave her, since that's what a man does, given what had happened to us. And hearing all of this takes a toll on anybody. But I was raised to never show how I felt, to act like a man. That's how I was raised, pretty much. So another thing is that nobody taught me how to be a good husband or a good caregiver. So I had to learn all of this on my own, and I'm still learning how to do it. And while going through all of this, nobody said, "Hey Jordan, this is how it's done. Let me show you how it's done." So there was nobody to help me. It was all criticism, no help, pretty much. And probably that's happening to you as well. So one of the things that I had to do, I had to learn not to care about what others say, since they haven't walked a single step in my shoes. That's very important in this kind of situation. I also had to learn everything I could about the conditions afflicting my wife, which means that this requires a ton of research, and I mean a ton. I have read so much about all these conditions. I never thought I could learn so much about this. And it hasn't been easy. I did all of this on my own. And so can you if you're in a similar situation. Because caregiving for a loved one is the most challenging thing you can do when you're a man, especially when it's your wife. I say this because I grew up in a culture where the woman completely looked after all the man's needs. And we live in a society that makes us believe that a wife needs to take care of the man. That's pretty much how society paints it to be. So it's easy to say, this is not what I signed up for. But the way that I see it, as long as you understand that this is a learning experience and you love the person you're taking care of, you will be able to overcome all of the challenges that are going to come your way, just like I have done for the past 5 years. We have got, me and my wife, especially me in this situation, I have overcome so many challenges, self-doubt, self-criticism, like so many things, and I could go on and on and on. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because being a caregiver is hard. But being a caregiver as a man, it's even harder, because there are certain expectations that are put on us that we don't even know about, and we learn about them when our wives or our partners become sick. And let's be honest, like I mentioned, not a lot of people help. They like to criticize. So if you're going to a situation like mine, remember, like, if I was able to do it, which pretty much I started from zero, because if you remember, my English was horrible when all of this started. Like, if you listen to the first episode of the podcast, my English was horrible. So imagine 5 years ago when all of this started. I had to talk to doctors. I had to do all of these things. So if I can do it, you can do it as well. It's just that you have to believe in yourself, and you have to work with your spoonie or with your wife or the person that you're taking care of. But it can be done. It does get better. It takes a lot of work, but it can be done. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk on today's episode. I am very excited for everything new that is coming into the podcast, all the feedback, all the support, all the new listeners, the new supporters. I'm really excited that we're growing. Thank you. It's all thanks to you. And with that said, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And obviously you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me at the Spoonie and Caregiver Life at gmail.com, or you can post it on the actual Facebook community, the Spoonie and Caregiver Life community. And I'll leave you like always. Always take care of yourself and have a great day.